kind mama, looking for another man, and she ain't got nobody at all to hold her hand. Way up down on Cripple Creek, hemp don't grow but 16 feet. Wanna go to bed but it ain't no use. They pile up in beds like chicken on the roof. She's a real kind mama, looking for another man, and she ain't got nobody at all to hold her hand. Real kind mama, looking for another man. Alright, that was Kind Mama Blues by Blind Willie McTell, recorded in 1929. We are continuing on with our Blind Willie McTell series and lessons in conjunction with my new ebook release, Blind Willie McTell, The Pre-War Recordings, which is now available at my store at www.deltalumusic.com. Be sure to check it out. This ebook has a selection of 9 songs of McTell's across standard tuning through 4 different keys. Once you get through all of these songs, you'll be able to learn mostly all of his repertoire when you continue studying. So thanks again for tuning along. In order to get started, I highly recommend getting access to this ebook because this is what I use in my lessons. I follow along page by page, piece by piece. The ebook is equipped with all of these beautiful chord diagrams, tablature, broken down piece by piece through the introduction all the way to the conclusion, the verse, the chorus, and then it has all of the lyrics. Definitely helpful in helping you master this music. Also, an acoustic guitar will do for purposes of learning. I know that McTell played a 12-string guitar. That isn't always accessible, so let's go ahead and use a 6-string guitar. Acoustic guitar will do. I try to refrain from playing electric guitar in folk music. I like to utilize plastic finger picks because I have fragile fingers. Again, that's optional, but it helps me pick out the strings, and it helps issue a more crisp tonality when you strike the strings. And last but not least, we always want to reiterate the right hand techniques. Again, if you haven't already watched my beginning finger picking blues guitar lessons 1 through 4, this is available on my website for free, the download, and watch all of those videos as well as a prerequisite. I like to utilize the kind of classic finger picking techniques. My strategy is you take the outer lining of the palm of your hand, you rest it over the 6th and 5th strings, your thumb is available to play the 5th string, and your index and middle finger will play the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings. And in conjunction together, when you play chords, it will be a combination of pinching together, these double stops, and playing these alternating finger picking patterns. So watching those beginning volumes 1 through 4 finger picking emphasizes these techniques in detail, which you can later go on to utilize throughout the rest of my lessons. Alright, moving on. Kind Mama Blues, recorded in 1929. Again, these McTell recordings are focusing on his pre-war recordings. Nothing is going to feature out of the 1949 Atlanta 12-string album. I'm focusing on his earliest stuff, which I believe he was in the prime of his career. And in learning McTell, as you notice already, you're going to have to down-tune your guitar up to 2 whole steps down to C. Our last song, we had to go all the way down to C. But you're going to have to start getting used to it if you want to follow along with playing along with McTell after these lessons. So Kind Mama Blues, the 1929 recording, is down-tuned to C-sharp tuning. Now we've had several songs already down-tuned to that. Drive Away Blues, for example. It's down-tuned from E to standard C tuning, and then additionally it's tuned at semitone between C-sharp and D. And again, McTell liked to down-tune his guitar low and then additionally go halfway in between. He loved that semitone. I don't know why he did this. He tended to sing high in a high-pitched voice, and I guess down-tuning his guitar gave him more flexibility and range as in terms of vocal range. So my top string, if you have a guitar tuned to standard E tuning, the top string is actually going to have to get down tuned to C sharp. So you're going from E to C sharp, and additionally you're tuning it semitone up, just a little bit up between C sharp and D. So let's go ahead and tune our guitars together. My top string is tuned to a C sharp plus. So go ahead and match, down tune and match to the tone on my guitar. My second string is an my fifth string is going to be an F sharp plus. My fourth string is going to be a B plus. My third string is going to be an E plus. My second string is going to be a G sharp plus. And then finally my bottom string is going to be a C sharp plus. So let's go ahead and play a C chord, because this song is played in the key of C. Alright, this song is pretty simple, and we're going to go through this relatively fast. But naturally anticipated being played in the key of C. And so let's go ahead and talk about the introduction first. So stay tuned. Alright, so the introduction starts off with a combination of the C major chord and a C6 chord. And it's going to go a little bit like this. Let me play that one more time. And then this is followed up by. Alright, so that's the introduction, and very simple and straightforward. So you have the first page available, the ebook in front of you. You see the two diagrams there, the C chord and then the C6 chord. So the C6 chord is kind of consistent with McTell's desire to play these 6 chords. In Writing Paper Blues, he plays this E6. Well, here he's doing the same thing with the C and the C6 chord. The same kind of concept. So to play the C6 chord, you're going to finger a C chord, C major chord like you would usually, and instead of the 4th string 2nd fret being fretted down, you're going to move that middle finger and you're going to shift it down to the 3rd string on the 2nd fret. And it will now sound like this. So it's like a C chord, but the middle finger comes down to the 3rd string 2nd fret. And so in this first sequence, he's going to be going back and forth between those 2 chords. Very straightforward and easy. So the first sequence to come in the introduction is a strum of 8 times of this chord. Right? And so you're going to strum this chord combination 8 times, and it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, and to play that, you're going to play the first 2 notes are going to be the C chord, 1, 2, and then the next 2 notes, 3 and 4, are going to be the C6 chord. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, then back to C major for that fifth note. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to that C major chord, and then the next two notes. The next two notes are going to be a C6 and then a C major. So in all the 7 notes, not 8, the 7 notes are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. Actually, I switched it up at the end. So you actually end this whole measure on a C6 chord, not a C chord. So really, the 7 notes are C, C, C6, C, C6, C, C, C6, C, C6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very straightforward and easy. 7 strums, combination of the C and C6 chord. Moving on. And right after he plays those 7 strums, he plays this quick little lick while holding the C chord. The pinky and the index finger are going to play these 4 notes, which sound like this. And so while you're holding the C chord, the index finger is going to play 4 notes. The first one is going to be the bottom string, 3rd fret. The pinky is going to come down, play that. All right, and then with the thumb you can play that 5th string, 3rd fret. Then the index finger is going to pop up and play the bottom string in the 1st fret. So it's 1, 2, and then you tick up to the 2nd string and play on the same frets again. Then it's the 2nd string, 3rd fret, ending on the 1st fret, 2nd string. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he ends on a C chord. So the introduction is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. C. One. Plays that little lick and then to C. Then he moves over into this back and forth combination, this kind of country cowboy style strumming of the C chord, which we covered a little bit in Love Talking Blues. And what he's doing here is kind of like a country riff on the C major chord. So he's going first. You'll finger a C chord and play the top string on the 3rd fret. So it's 1, 2. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So you play the C chord first, and then you play the top string on the 3rd fret. Then you play the C chord, and then play the 5th string on the 3rd fret. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're just alternating these bass notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you play C, play the 5th string, 3rd fret, then play 1 strike of the C major chord, then take the pinky or the ring finger, come up to the 3rd fret, 6th string, then play that, then play the C chord again. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's just like this typical country rhythm, except he's making it more like a ragtime combo. And what you can do optionally is he can play kind of a bass lick like this. You play the top string, 3rd fret, then come immediately to the 5th string, 2nd fret, and then the 3rd fret, 5th string. This is also what he may be doing in the song as well. So that's the introduction, and then the pre-verse. So we haven't gotten to the first stanza yet, which we will do now. All right, so now we're going to look at the first stanza where he sings, "She's a real kind mama, looking for another man, and she ain't got nobody to hold her hand." And that's what we'll be looking at here. So the first stanza is he continues with this country rhythm. And this is the portion where he starts to sing. So he goes, "She's a real kind mama, real kind mama, real kind mama. She's a real kind mama, real kind mama." That's essentially what he's doing. So he carries that over throughout the remainder of the song. And then somewhere in between there he plays this in the portion where he goes, "Looking for another man." And this is how he does it. "Looking for another man. Looking for another man." And what he's doing here is, this is kind of like a From 4 Till Late riff from Robert Johnson. So he's utilizing this typical lick used in C, in the key of C, especially with old blues music, is you're going to take your thumb, it's going to swoop down to the 2nd string, and this is what you're going to play. You're going to play this sort of a half C chord. The index finger is going to play the bottom string on the 3rd fret. With the index finger, you'll pluck that upwards. The thumb is going to swoop down and play on the 2nd string, 5th fret. And you're going to pinch together with the thumb and the index finger. And you're going to play this 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to shift over, maintaining the same fingering, over the 2nd and 4th fret. Followed by the 1st and the 3rd fret as the next note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the 6th note, you just play the 1st fret, 2nd string to end that lick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looking for another man, looking for another man, looking for another man. And then he plays the C chord right after that. So when you put it all together, she's a real kind mama, looking for another man, and she ain't got nobody at all. She hold her hand. So again, I'll go over that one more time. So it's, she's a real kind mama, looking for another man, and she ain't got nobody at all. Notice also when I'm doing this rhythm, I like to integrate this little bass lick, which I'm doing with my thumb. Real kind mama. And you can also sneak in that C6 chord if you wanted to. Real kind mama. And that's optional for you. So he continues with this, and she ain't got nobody at all, she ain't got nobody at all to hold her hand. And then eventually he goes into the G7 chord. And then there's quite a bit of a build-up before he gets to that point, so he still stays in the C chord. And she ain't got nobody at all to hold her hand. And then he goes into this sort of hybrid G7 G chord. And he plays this very loose figure while holding the G7 chord, like a finger picking combination, which sounds like this. So altogether it will sound like, and she ain't got nobody at all to hold her hand. And that's something that he's doing in G. So he's going from a 1 chord, all just directly to the 5 chord here, C to G, bypassing the 4 chord at all. I don't think there's a presence of an F chord in here at all. But to play this sequence in G, this portion, what he'll do here is you're going to play the combination of 7 notes here, and while holding this kind of G7 chord, you're going to have the pinky available to play the bottom string on the 3rd fret. And so while holding this chord, you play a double stop where the top string 3rd fret and the bottom string 3rd fret are being played. You double stop and the index finger is playing the 1st and 2nd strings. So there's a kind of like a half chord. So that's the 1st note, and then the index finger is going to come and play the G7 chord as the 2nd note. 1, 2, 1, 2, G, G7. So those are the first 2 notes. 1, 2. Then he ticks up and plays on the 2nd string, kind of the similar instance. So now he'll go to the 2nd string 3rd fret, play the double stop, then finger the 2nd string on the 1st fret as the next note. And then he'll remove that index finger and just play the top string and then the 2nd string open. So the first 5 notes are 1, 2, then he goes to the 2nd string and he plays 3, 4, then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 1st string, then 2nd string, and then while holding the top string 3rd fret, you play the 3rd string open as a double stop. So then it's 2 notes of this. So the first 7 notes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're playing those double stops. Are very imperative. So those are the first 7 notes, and then he plays this like half of a G chord, G major chord. Don't play the bottom 2 strings here. He'll play 2 strums of that. 1, 2. So the first 9 notes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's the first measure, and then it's followed up by this. And then that instance is, it's kind of a combination of 7 notes, 7, 8 notes. You'll play the top string, you're holding down the 3rd fret top string, and then you're playing the 3rd string open together as a double stop. 1, then you play the 2nd string open and the top string on the 3rd fret as a double stop as for that 2nd note. So it's 1, 2. 3rd string, 2nd string, 3rd string, 2nd string. And then the next one is kind of an optional. You play the top string, 3rd fret, and then the bottom string open. Or you just go straight to the bottom string, 3rd fret, and play as a double stop, and then play 3 strums of this G7 chord. So in all, it's kind of the ascending, filling out the rest of this lick in G, and this will sound like this. So the later half of this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or you could do with the open string and the bottom string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So altogether, that lick is going to sound like this. From the beginning, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And it's played very just loosely. There's a loose stance on that. But nonetheless, that's the 5 chord, and that's something that reappears over and over throughout the song. So we've covered the introduction, the main stanzas, and then the 5 chord. And now we're going to get to the other portion of the song where he gets to play these 4 characteristic chords, which we learned in Southern Can Mama, and he goes back to this. And that's what we'll cover next. Alright, so the other main portion of the song, and what dominates the rest of the song and stanzas, is these combination of 4 chords, which also carries within these chords these long pauses, almost like these whole note rests. And it's in the portion of the song where he goes, way down yonder on Cripple Creek, ain't gonna grow but 16 feet. Wouldn't go to bed, but it ain't no use. Pile up and rest like chickens on the roost. She's a real gun mama, looking for another man, and I ain't got no. Alright, so these 4 chords are going to dominate the rest of the song, and they are like what we discussed in Southern Can Mama. You're going to play the C major chord. What is also optional is you could play a full C major chord, where you play the top string 3rd fret. I like to attest that McTell liked to play these full chords. But normally a C doesn't play the top string, but you could play that top string, a more fuller one. When he gets into this portion, that's what I feel like he's doing. So the first chord in that sequence is way down yonder on Cripple Creek. It is the C major chord. Alright, so he plays one instance of that, and then he plays one more strike of it before going to the C7 chord. So it's way down yonder on Cripple Creek. Right, so it's C, C7. Way down yonder on Cripple Creek, C7. Then he strikes the C7 chord real fast before getting into this F chord. This smaller F chord with the thumb playing the top string 1st fret. I wouldn't bar it in this case. I would play it like this. So that's the next chord, the F major chord. And that's on the hem don't grow. And then he strikes the F chord again, and then he goes into this G sharp chord without playing the bottom string. So it would be like you're fingering an F chord here, but now you're going to the 4th, 5th, and 6th frets, and you're playing the same chord here, except you're not touching the bottom string at all. So it'll sound like this. You're only playing those these three strings. You're playing the second string 4th fret, third string 5th fret, fourth string 6th fret together. Now you could play the bottom string open, but you wouldn't fret it. In Southern Can Mama, I believe he plays the bottom string, but in this song he doesn't. So that's the G sharp variation of a chord. So all together it will sound like this. So it goes, way down yonder on Cripple Creek, hemp don't grow but 16 feet. Wouldn't go to bed but it ain't no use. They pile up on the bed like chickens on a roost. So it's 1, 2, 3, F, G sharp, C, C sharp, C7, F, G sharp. Alright, and you'll have to get the rests and the pauses in between those chords according to the original recording. But the song is dominated by this sequence in the song. Right? So that's pretty straightforward and easy. And then he continues on when he gets over the stanza. They pile up on the bed like chickens on the roost. And then he goes back to, she's a real kind mama, looking born on the man, and ain't got nobody to hold her hand. Back to the G, and then he goes back to these 4 chord combinations again. The rooster chewed tobacco, did no snuff, every time I damn blind do no stuff. You know, so he continues with that sort of thing. But nonetheless, he continues on in the song, and now we're gonna kind of So again, he reissues these 4 chords across the whole song, and then you repeat the concepts illustrated thus far against the remaining stanzas. There's nothing really unique that he does through this song, but it just is a combination of the real kind mama, looking for another man. And then the other half of the song is, you know, whatever. The rooster chew tobacco and the hen don't snuff. And then back to the chorus. Run, mama, looking for another man, and she ain't got nobody to hold her hand. Again, very simple and straightforward song. So when he gets to the absolute last part of the song, he plays this sort of lick on the C major scale, which sounds like this. And it's sort of like a Blind Lemon Jefferson lick. He's extracting something similar into that nature, and it sounds like this. And you resolve the song on the C major chord. And to do that, the first 3 notes are going to be bottom string 3rd fret, then you go to the 2nd fret bottom string, 1st fret bottom string, then the bottom string open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you'll play this quick lick, which you'll play the bottom string open, then play the 2nd string on the 4th fret, and then play the bottom string open again. So it's, from the beginning, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you play the 2nd string 1st fret, then play the 3rd string 2nd fret, and then the 3rd string open. Then play the top string 3rd fret, and end on a C7. And that's Kind Mama Blues, a nice ragtime song. And just go ahead and practice with the C6 and C. And then this bass. It's a fun little song, very easy to play, and it goes perfectly right after we just covered Southern Can Mama Blues. So now we're down to our final song in the lessons, which is going to come in a few days, and that's B&O Blues number 2, which has a lot going on and needs a lot more explanation. But thanks again for following along, and if you haven't already, definitely check out this ebook. I'm learning a lot by making these ebooks myself. I'm really mastering McTell and enjoying this. This has always been a project for me that I've thought about for years, and I'm happy to finally get around to it. Again, if you haven't already, follow me on my Facebook page, Delta Lu Music. I post all of my news there. We've got a good, thriving community there aimed at preserving this great music. So once again, I'm Delta Lu, bidding you good night. Thanks so much.